everyone. It has been, what, 2 weeks since my last, like, crafty update vlog type video. So, I hope that you guys have had a productive couple of weeks. I know that I have been really busy with non-crafting stuff, so most of my progress has been on my cross-stitch and knitting, since those are the ones that I kind of keep set up and therefore are the easiest for me to just like pick up and go if I've got a few minutes on. So, I wanted to show you what I've been doing with all of those. Let's start with the cross-stitch like usual. The first piece that I worked on was my Dimensions kit, the Oriental Butterfly. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. And last time you saw it, I had done, I had done these two little symbols. So since then I've done this symbol and then the three over here. I also backstitched this area and most of this little motif. The only thing I have left to do is like the bottom of this character, and I will be done with the backstitching on the bottom and able to move it up a little bit. So as you can see, it's coming along really nicely. I've been quite enjoying it. I think I'm probably going to start working on it again next week. I think I mentioned last time that I was considering alternating my projects on the weekdays, so like between this one and the 4 Heavenly Beasts that I'm going to show you in a minute, and then working on my 12 Days of Christmas sampler on the weekend, and I've been doing that and it's been working really well. So I'm probably going to get back to that Oriental Butterfly Monday, because today is Sunday. The next piece that I worked on, that I'll talk about, is the 4 Heavenly Beasts Heaven and Earth designs. The artwork is by Kayomi Hirai, and I'm currently working up in this sort of area, kind of around Tiger's giant elbow. And, as you can see, I finished the 20 stitch wide column that I was working on here. I think I was about here, and I finished down about, that much. So this is Tiger's ginormous elbow right here. The next column, I think, won't get to her head, but we'll start to see her neck. So that one's coming along as slowly as a full coverage piece comes, but it is coming along. I was particularly busy that week. I was hoping that I could get actually into the next column, but I did not. And then the third one that I worked on was kind of my on the weekends piece. Oh, I should mention, this is being done on 18 count antique white Aida. This is I don't have a picture for it because it's just the patterns. It was not, I can never remember. I don't think it was last Christmas. I think it was the Christmas before last's. Plum Street Samplers 12 Days of Christmas. I'll have a link to it in the description below so you can see. And I'm doing this 1/1 on 28 count, a random linen that I have no idea what it is. So I think that last time I worked on it, I had like the tree stem and then a couple of these pairs done, so I did the rest of the pairs. I did a little more work on the border, and I started one of the two True Loves here. I think this is the dude right here. And I know that the contrast between the fabric and the green floss is not like the biggest in the world, so but I think with the right lighting, especially with something white behind it, you can still see it pretty well. So that is that. That is my progress on all of my stitching. And so my plan is to kind of continue in that rotation. And then if you follow kind of the floss tube stitching community, you've probably heard that Jessie Marie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff is doing a, I think, 2-week birthday stitch-along thing because she's turning 29 this year, I believe. I'm not in any of the Facebook groups, so I don't know all of the background details. I just know what I've seen in her videos and other people's videos. So, basically the idea is that for, I think, 2 weeks, there's a different theme every day, and so you work on a project that fits that theme. It could be a different project every day, or it could be one project that manages to fit all the themes. And since Jessie Marie is like my favorite person to watch, I figured that I would go ahead and join in on her thing. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about it now because it's going to start before my next video. So, I have exactly 4, not 5, 4 stitching works in progress. So, I was looking at her stitch-along themes, and it works out that my 4 can fit every single day of her stitch-along. So, I'm going to go ahead and show you each piece and then tell you which days it's going to be qualifying for. Now, the first piece, I have not worked on this thing in ages. It desperately needs to get back on a frame. This is my Save the Stitches Blackwork sampler. I actually have an empty Q-snap. I'm going to go put it on that as soon as I get done with this video, so I don't forget. I am doing this on, the fabric is called Linda. It's not a fabric I've heard of very much. It's a weird count. I think it's like 27 count or something. But it was pretty cheap on 1-2-3 Stitch, and I actually really like working on it. And it's just black DMC with red, blue, and green accents. This is the pattern. I'll have a link to the pattern down below. It's also a freebie, and just the pattern, so I don't have a finished picture. It's from, oh crap. I think it's Elizabeth Almond. I know it's Blackwork Journey is her website. Like I said, I'll have description below. It was big a couple, stupid itchy nose. She's done a couple of stitch-along type things since then. This was big a while back, which was when I started it. So, this one is the first one that's going to come up on my thing. So, on the 15th, her theme, the theme is the oldest whip, which this is. Since I finished my Morning Flight Eagle cross stitch, this is my oldest whip. Also, on the 16th, the theme is Jessie Marie Does Stuff, something related to either J, M, D, or S, and so since this is called Save the Stitches, that will be S. And it also kind of works on an extra level because, you know, her channel is Jessie Marie Does Stuff, not Jessie Marie Cross Stitches, because she does stuff besides cross stitching. And this isn't exactly cross stitching, so it's stuff, so, you know, cute. And then that will get a third day on the 17th, where the theme is to do something that you were enabled to start, which this definitely is. I had no idea about it until I started watching videos and seeing, it was actually like a cross-stitch group on a knitting website. It was weird, on Ravelry. I saw a bunch of people doing this and was like, I need to do that, so I did. And then I think that may be the last days that it's, yeah, so it'll just be the first 3 days, I think, that this one will come in. There's a couple days where I might sub it in if something happens with my other pieces, but that's my plans. Then the next one that I'm planning on working on is the 12 Days of Christmas. So on the 18th, the theme is Jessie Marie's favorite colors, which are maroon, orange, purple, red. I would call that a fairly reddy, maroony fabric. It's the closest I've got, so that's what it's going to go for. This will also come in. I was kind of struggling with the theme for the 23rd because it's her 29th birthday, so the idea was to do something related to the number 29. And I decided that I think on that day I'm going to work on the 2nd and the 9th block of the 12 Days of Christmas. So if I can, I would love to do like 2nd day and 9th day to really do the 29 theme. Woohoo. And then this will actually come in the last 2 days because the 25th is the most recent start that you've done, which is this one. I had to think whether it was this one or Oriental Butterfly, and I'm pretty sure it's this one. So that'll be this one. And then on the 26th, the theme is something related to family. And I figured that the two true loves who have just adopted 50 bazillion animals probably qualify as a family. So that'll be this one. Then, after that, The next one that comes up, I'm just going chronologically. I have notes in my planner as to what I'm going to do each day. I can't honestly guarantee that I'm going to remember to do them all every day, but I'm going to do my best. So on the 19th, the theme is to do something related to animals, and I believe this is the day that's like bonus if it's a bulldog, which I don't have a bulldog, but I have 4 heavenly beasts, including a tiger, and a snake, and a turtle, and a dragon and a phoenix, which probably don't quite count as animals quite as much as the others do, but I will be working on tiger. Well, on somewhere in the column. I might still be back in the sky. Now, this one's an interesting one. So on the 21st days, on the 21st, there's kind of a collection of themes that go together, but the one that I'm going to hit on is the idea of the astrological symbol Taurus. It's her astrological symbol, I assume. I don't really do astrology, but something related to that. Well, astrological symbol of a bull is an animal made out of stars, which one might argue is a heavenly beast. So, 4 heavenly beasts, none of which are bulls, but you know what, too bad. And then I think this one is also, oh yeah, this one's also going to come up on the 24th, where the theme is like a book or a story. And I gotta tell you, the reason that I decided that this was the first Heaven and Earth design that I was going to do was because I was looking at the finishes, I was looking at all of them, and I wanted something that looked like it had a story to it. So like you looked at it and you were like, what is going on there? Clearly I'm missing something. So, 4 heavenly beasts arguing about something qualifies as a intriguing story to me. So, 4 heavenly beasts. And then finally, poor Oriental Butterfly only manages to qualify for a couple of days. So for this one, I have, on the 20th, the theme is to do something that you find pretty, which this one is, this is a day that I might sub out the Save the Stitches, because I also think that one's really pretty, but because this has only got one day besides that, I'm thinking I'll probably do this one. And then the other one is on the 22nd, the closest to finishing, which is this one, because I just have to, I need to finish this back stitching, scroll up, do some more symbols, do some back stitching, and then there's a little bit of like satin stitching, specialty stitches at the very top to finish it. But I'm really close to getting finished. Really close. I'm actually really looking forward to getting that one finished and hung on the wall, and it'll be great. And when I get done with that, I have plans for what I'm going to start, and I actually bought the floss for it because Joann's had a coupon that was only good for 3 days that was like 40% off of your entire purchase, which brought floss down to like 25 cents a skein, so I bought a lot. But you'll have to wait and see what that is after I finish Oriental Butterfly. So yeah, that's my plans for the Jessie Marie Does Stuff birthday stitch-along, and I don't remember, there's a Instagram hashtag that I'll probably be using as well as just talking about it here, so check that out if you're interested. If you don't like Jessie Marie, you probably should, because she's kind of awesome. Also, like, every time she does something, it makes me want to do something, right? Like, every time, I swear. Alright, so that's my cross-stitching. Like I said, my plans are to continue kind of doing the rotation that's been working for me, but also that the Jessie Marie Turns 29 stitch-along will take up more than a week of my time before I get back to you on the next video. So there's that. Moving along to my knitting, I have been continuing to work on my, if I can find a picture of the pattern, on my Senna socks by Cookie A. They're gorgeous. I'm knitting this out of Malabrigo sock in, I believe it's the Aguas colorway. So I had been about here, and I finished off the lace for the leg on this side. I'm going to kind of put it on like a glove so you can see there's lace, and then on this side there's like even more lace. And it's gorgeous, and I like it, and this, okay, that's pretty close to its actual color. This is the hardest color to photograph, I swear. Anyway, so since I knit my socks in tandem, after I went up, finished off the leg lace, I then went back to my other sock where I'd just done the cuff, and I started knitting the leg lace on it as well. So I'm going to knit that lace, and then when it gets to this long, I'll start putting the heels in. So I've got a ways to go, but, you know, I had made decent progress, and I'm starting to get pretty close to memorizing that lace pattern. I mean, not memorizing, but being able to tell from where I am where I'm going to go next. So that's coming along slowly but surely. And then the other project that I've been knitting on is my shawl. So this is the, oops, here we go. This is the Scheherazade shawl by Anna Victoria of By the Lily Pond. And so this is like the Scheherazade shawl. And this is the variant that I'm doing. And she calls it the Dunyazad, but I can never remember that. I just call it the Scheherazade shawl. And so basically it's just got, instead of having this lacy center, it's got the solid stitch center and then the lace on the outside. The only difference is I am doing, she did this with a smaller center than this shawl. This is the same shawl, by the way, in these two pictures. So I'm doing mine with that solid center, but the size of the larger center that she did on her lacy one. If that makes any sense. Anyway, the option is I'm doing this, but it's going to be bigger. And I have been still working on that solid center. I'm doing this one in the Filatura di Crossa Nirvana. It's a lace weight yarn. And my colorway is 23. For all that good that does you. I thought it had a name, but it doesn't. So I've been working on this. These little stitch markers on the edge are from where I was counting stitches. So I've done this much more, which, you know. Oh, I completely forgot. My socks that I was doing, the Senna socks, I'm doing on US size 1.5 needles using ChiaoGoo double points. I love them. This is also ChiaoGoo needle. This is, what is this? This is size 3 or 3.25 millimeters. And so last night I finally got to the point where I was able to count my stitches. Well, I could have counted my stitches before, but it wouldn't have done me any good because I didn't know what number they were supposed to be until I got to the point where I did last night. And I was so happy that I did indeed have the 221 stitches that I was supposed to have, because, you know, it's a little bit concerning that in 75-ish rows you might have missed an increase and only have 220. That would have been bad, but no, it's 221, just like it's supposed to be. And then I've got just a tiny bit more of this solid section to go, which will bring me up to 255. And then once I get to 255, I will be able to start my lace. So this is going to be a doozy, and I'm like 95% certain that I'm going to be complaining about how big it is and how long each row takes by the time I get done, because as you can see, it's it is not, it is falling out of my hands. It is not small. And thank goodness it can be like all scrunched up, because otherwise there's no way I'd be able to fit this on this needle. I want to say this is about a 24-inch needle? No, it's got to be longer than that. It must be closer to a 36. I don't remember exactly. Anyway, so I had done that much, which is pretty good, especially because every row gets longer by 6 stitches. Sorry, I'm just increasing a lot, and it's starting to get a little boring. So it's so soft though. It's 100% superwash merino. It's super soft. Can't wait. So yeah, that's what I've been doing on this one. I'm so close to starting the lace, so I'm looking forward to getting to that. I don't know if you can tell, this is lace weight yarn. So this is the first project I've done with lace weight. It's very thin, and I quite like it. I'm doing it obviously on much larger needles than I would if I were going for like a solid fabric. Since I'm going for a very lacy fabric, I'm using larger needles. Ugh. So despite it being a very thin yarn, it's going relatively quickly because of the larger needles. So that is my stitching. My stitching plans are to continue working on those two projects. I also have my mitered square scrap blanket. I think I put like 2 squares on it in the last 2 weeks, so it didn't seem worth pulling it out to show you. And that's kind of my like, yeah, I just want to knit on, it's garter stitch, so it's like I just want to knit on something really easy. I've kind of sort of informally been working on each of those projects for about 3 days. not necessarily 3 days in a row, because sometimes I go 3 days without knitting, but, you know, I work on it for 3 days before I switch. And that's been going pretty well. It's given me enough time to get back into the pattern, but not so much that I get tired of it. Like I said, it's really informal and loose, so I'm not going to worry too much about it if I end up missing a day. Oh no! If I want to stay with it longer, I'm going to stay with it longer. If I get sick of it, I'm going to switch. So, anyway, I'm working on those two. I was going to show you here. It's actually right here. Hold on. Okay, one of my favorite yarn shops, which I've never actually been to in person, which makes me kind of sad, is called Dizzy Sheep, and they're called something else. I think they're called like the Village Yarn Shop in their like physical location, which is up in New York, but online it's Dizzy Sheep. I think it's just dizzysheep.com. And they have a couple times a year they do kind of what they call spin-offs, where they have a different deal every hour, and so you just kind of keep checking back. So I bought yarn. I don't need more yarn, but I bought yarn. They had a sock yarn spin-off, and I was very restrained because I bought one pair of socks worth of yarn. This, I have never used this before, but I've been told it's one of the yarns that the Dizzy Sheep people on the Ravelry group, the fan group for the Dizzy Sheep store, people get excited about this one coming up. So it's this crazy Zauberball. I don't know. I've never knit with it, but it's let me see. It's called Passe and Blue. I don't know. It's basically going to be a gradient of like blues and white and black. And so, you know, you can see there's some different shades of blue, and I found some like plain black in there, and I'm sure that there's going to be like white. Oh, here's a white and a blue that makes a different shade of blue. So anyway, it's going to be an interesting little gradient to work with. I think I know which pattern I'm going to do with it, but I can't remember what it's called, and I don't have it. I'm not in any rush to get to this, so at some point I'm going to get to this. But anyway, I figured I would show you this because it's like super cool looking, and I've never knit with one of these before, and I've been told that it's like one of the must-buys. This and the Malabrigo sock tend to be what people get really excited about during the Dizzy Sheep sock spin-offs. So I bought the Malabrigo sock that I'm doing my Senna socks with last year's sock spin-off, so this year's sock spin-off I bought this one. Anyway, thought it'd be fun to show off. It kind of makes me want to finish up those current projects, because I'm trying not to start any new knitting projects until I get those finished. So, like I said, most of what I worked on was my knitting and my cross stitch, but I did do a little bit of other things. I finished off another of these rolled newspaper baskets. Yeah, this is made out of rolled newspaper and cardboard cereal box. I've been making these for my kitchen to contain things. I have only got one more that I want to make, but I haven't started it because I've been so busy. And this one is done with a different varnish than my previous rolled projects have been, and I really like that one. My previous ones, the varnish, something about the way that varnish was when I applied it with a foam brush, it got all bubbly, and then the bubbles didn't fully pop, and so there was like little bubbly bits stuck in the crevices of the wicker-ish weaving. It's actually newspaper. So this time around I used a different varnish, and I really like the way that one came out. There were a few bubbles, but not a lot, and then they all popped. So it's also a little bit shinier. Anyway, this has been holding my tea supplies and other stuff that just sits on my counter. And then the last thing I was going to show you is just, it made me laugh, so I figured I would show it to you. So I have been sewing pajama pants and kind of like lounging around the house pants for myself for a while now, and I've got a pattern that I really like. I need to make some more. But I was getting kind of tired of buying waistband elastic in like one little package for one pair of pants and paying like $3 for one pair of pants worth of elastic. So I went on Amazon, as one does, and I went looking for some waistband elastic, which I found. Yeah, it's bigger than my head. Think I have enough? I think I do. Anyway, and it was like, I I don't remember. It was maybe like $15, which is, if I was paying $3 before, actually it was less than 3, it was probably like 2. So, you know, definitely saving, and since I like it, and it's, you know, it's just knit 1-inch elastic. But it made me laugh because I bought it knowing that it was a large thing and that I was going to be saving money on my elastic, and then I got it and I was like, oh, it's huge. And I'm going to have to figure out a better way to store it, because as soon as I take this little thing out, it's just going to fall apart. So that'll be exciting, but it made me laugh, and I thought it might make you laugh too, to see my giant roll of waistband elastic. So yeah, I'm going to get back to making myself pajama pants sometime soon, because I need some more pairs with, like, I have a really nice, like, flannel pair, but it's summer, so I need some lighter weight ones. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much all that I've been up to. Like I said, I've been really busy with my schoolwork and stuff, so haven't had all that much opportunity to do stuff. I haven't really made a lot of progress. I was painting a friend's cat, and I've really just not touched that since the last time you saw it. So anyway, I'm hoping that in the next couple of weeks I will continue to make progress on the cross stitch and the knitting. I'm pretty sure on the cross stitch, because I'm going to start that Jessie Marie Does Stuff 29th birthday stitch along. And I'm assuming with the knitting, because I'm pretty motivated to keep working on both of those projects. And then I'm hoping that I will get a chance to do some more on my non-knitting, non-cross-stitch projects, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm currently collecting data and writing a thesis, so yeah. I'm busy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you have a productive couple of weeks, and I hope to see you back in a couple of weeks. Talk to you then. Bye.